Talking to Dr. Al-Hadid from Tennessee State University and Mr. Fakhruddin from the Islamic Center in Nashville. And of course, Mr. Fakhruddin, before we had our first commercial break, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about the Islamic Center in Nashville, Tennessee, and then we'll talk about other things. But let's have you to explain to our audience the existence of that center and what you're doing at that particular place.
It's very interesting because it is part of Nashville history here, the Islamic Center of Nashville. It was the first mosque built here. And just a little historical background on the Muslim community here. Of course, Dr. Al-Hadid was one of the early first Muslims here. My parents moved here in 1970, and there were just a few families, Muslim families at the time. Imam Yusuf from Masjid al-Islam moved into the scene, and Muhammad Yunus, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, he was actually here during the early 70s as a Muslim. So they used to pray at the Jefferson Street. There was a place they used to rent out. And this was in the 70s. And in the mid-70s, the Muslims used to congregate at the Vanderbilt, at that time what was known as the Afro House, which later became known as Black Cultural Center.
Good.
Then
Johnson Black Culture.
By 1979, so 1979, a few of the families, Muslim community got together and gathered enough money. And Cat Stevens happened to pass by at the time. And he had accepted Islam a few years prior to that. And he had met with my dad and a few other people. And he had contributed towards the existing location on 12th Avenue South, which is where we're located, the Islamic Center of Nashville. So in 1979, a house was purchased as a mosque, and then other mosques came into the scene. You had Masjid al-Islam, I think, in 1982. And by 1989, and here's part of, we're sitting at part of history here. The mosque was, the house was demolished, and we prayed with Masjid al-Islam, Imam Yusuf's, the imam there. And Dr. Al-Hadid led the construction committee into building the first, actually this is the only structural mosque, looking mosque in town. And we have also several other mosques, Saladin Center and Masjid al-Faruq as well. So in 1989, this architectural building was built by the help of Dr. Al-Hadid, with the help of God, of course, first. And from that time, the Muslim community started growing tremendously. We had an influx of Muslims from Kurdistan. In fact, Nashville has the largest Kurdish population in America. The Somalian community grew, and they used to pray with us at the Islamic Center of Nashville. So we're sort of like the mother organization, and then they formed 2 mosques. We coordinate with each other. We have over 40 nations represented just in the Islamic Center of Nashville. We had an open house just back in January celebrating diversity, and Dr. Al-Hadid was our guest speaker. So it's very beautiful. It's like a little model United Nations, and we have a full-time Islamic school, the Nashville International Academy as well, and a lot of activities. And we're trying our best to be part of the community because Nashville to us is home, America is home. And last week we were involved with the MS Walk, participated. We had been involved with Habitat for Humanity. And we want to be more involved with the neighborhood programs, and our intention is to be part, a positive part of the community.
Dr. Al-Hadid, I think when we talked about about Malcolm X and his conversion, you mentioned the fact that there had been some real opposition to Muslims in the United States. Let's talk about that, which is to say that at the 21st century they might stand at a certain place, but it was not always so. Why don't you give us sort of a review of that kind of information?
Yes. Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam in March of 1964, and on the 12th of March he declared that he was going to establish the Muslim Mosque Incorporated. And the purpose of that mosque was to teach mainstream Islam, which had not been taught to African Americans. There were immigrant Muslims in America, but they were not publicly known. I mean, they were known in certain circles. And so if you draw a line from 1965 forward, that's the point at which things started changing. U.S. immigration policies changed, and more Muslims from the Muslim world started coming to the United States, from Egypt, from Syria, from Turkey, and various other places. And so Islam started to take on the true character of the Muslim world. And so we're at a point now where there are approximately, some say 7 million, but I guess our figures would say about 10 million Muslims in the United States. And of that population, 30% are African-American Muslims, and then the others are immigrant Muslims from various parts of the Muslim world, from Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, from Arabia, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, India, from China. So you have Muslims from all over the world. And our community, as Brother Rashid pointed out, is blessed because we are a microcosm of the entire Muslim world. So if anyone wants to see at any time what it would look like if you actually made the pilgrimage to Mecca, just come to the Islamic Center. You see the same nationality, you hear the same languages. Only different, they wouldn't be dressed like the people would be dressed, you know, for the pilgrimage in the white. But we are a microcosm of the entire Muslim world, and the Muslim world comprised probably about 1.3 billion people, concentrated primarily in Asia and Africa.
And so it's quite an extensive. Now you said that you came to United States with your parents from Bangladesh in 1969.
1970.
1970.
November 1970.
Now, but what's his situation now? I mean, how did he decide to relocate to the United States?
Well, actually, my parents. My dad had come here in 1961 and done some postgraduate training. He was a physician, psychiatrist. He was in Knoxville in '61, was in Massachusetts for several years with my mom, and they moved back in '67 for a couple of years and tried to live there. And in the end, in '69, they moved to Canada for a year. My dad had a one-year contract working there in research, and then he moved to Nashville. His friend was here. And they started at Meharry Medical College. He taught there for about 9-10 years. And it's been a great experience here.
You know, Dr. Elliott, you've got about a minute. Let's make some statements prior to that, and then we'll come back for this last segment in reference to that. Do you find that there's been a general reception of individuals from different countries, diversity and et cetera, among the people in Nashville, Tennessee here?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the Islamic community here is just the essence of multiculturalism and cultural diversity. And we have open houses all the time. We go to churches, we give speeches, and there is a general acceptance. People are really eager to learn about Islam because most people just don't necessarily believe everything they see in the mass media. They want to see the story behind the story. And then when they actually get to know us, they find that Muslims are just like any other people. We just have a different religion, but that doesn't make us different from types of human beings.
And of course, let us take this commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The